Salam
Hello.
alaikum, Munir.
Alaikum salam. Hello, everyone.
What do
How's it
you
going, people?
what do you think about I tried setting up that live. We talked about YouTube Live and I think you can do it from the mobile, but you cannot do it from the desktop. Um, we can discuss doing these where we just give drivers a link and they come in and um,
I I
we'll
beg
see.
to differ. I think there is a possibility to do a YouTube live without be on desktop as well.
Well, there is, but you can't invite people. I
You can just
couldn't
send a
invite you,
link. You can send a link.
but it'd be a one-man show. You wouldn't be there.
Hmm. I can I can swear I saw a lot of those YouTube lives where there's like five, six people in different, everyone in their
On
setting.
mobile,
No, on their cameras on desktop.
we'll have
On
to keep digging.
I have a show that I watch occasionally called it's called Super Six. It's about English Premier League, and I watch it like every now and then, every Monday and Thursday. There's like six guys from six teams talking live for like hour and a half every Monday and Thursday about Premier League. Super Six is the or Big Six, not Super Six. Big Six is like big clubs, Big
Do you
Six clubs.
watch it every now and then, or do you watch it every Monday and Thursday? Because that's a big difference.
No, every now and then. It's like I watch it maybe twice a month, maybe three times a month.
Okay. Well, it's good to get that clarified because there's a big difference there.
Yeah, every now and then is like every couple of months.
Yes, yes. We'll
So
figure that out. We'll figure that out.
we will.
You know what's been coming across my videos, man? I don't know if made it over the pond, but probably not. Are you familiar with Nickelodeon, the TV channel?
Yeah, we have that channel over here as well.
Some, except over there, it's called Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
There's all this stuff coming out, man, where just the typical Hollywood filth. There was a documentary on HBO, I guess, where it's talking about kids, what are they called? Kids stars or whatever.
Hmm? Like MTV used to have, like
No,
whatever
no,
star,
just
teenage
children
stars.
who, just children who are actors and singers and famous and grow up in that. And often, what they go through and like in this one, it's bringing light to all this perverted stuff that, this in particular director or whatever he was doing, and then like some of it is like the jokes that were built into these kids shows. These shows are made for like literally like 10-year-olds, and there's
Hmm.
all of these very, very clearly not not hidden at all, sexual innuendos and references and
That's insane.
it's insane when you look at it now because it's so clear that that's what it is. Like there's just no way to twist it any other way. And then you see the bigger picture of this, 6-year-old, for example, or 10-year-old who's thrown into this life, and then as they are maturing and growing, they just remain in this weird, perverted, not natural state of living where they're a celebrity, but they don't know what that means. That to them, that's just life. Like if you became a celebrity today, you have a reference point. You're like, well, huh?
Wicked.
Yeah. You have a
Leg.
yeah, you have a reference point. You can be like, I know what this means. Like, I know what people running up to me, why they're doing it, to take a picture and this and that. But imagine if you
Right.
just grow up in that. You have no reference point for what normal life is supposed to be.
Yeah, well, you had that before as well, but on a different level. I mean, one of some of the stars or movie stars that we have today, like Leonardo DiCaprio, he was acting as a child, and that's his whole life or whatever. So you had that before as well, but today is a little bit different with social media and everything. Back then, it was He's starring in a movie for like 3 minutes, and that's it. And there is no that social
Mm.
media hype and everything that comes with it. But today is so different. But do not be always negative. There are good stuff as well that are coming out. Let me give you an example. I watched them. Halima, my daughter, she loves like like those kids musicals or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that she's very enjoying that. So I found one that recently that's been out, and I just started it last weekend. It's called Wonka. It's a
Mm-hmm.
brand new one. It's like from December 2023, and it's very famous actors are playing the main. Um, and yeah, the point is, it's a rerun of an old movie called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, something like that. I don't remember, but it's a musical. I don't know who made it, but it's based on a very traditional universal values, such as you run for your dream, and if you
Mm-hmm.
work hard enough you'll get there. But it's not about a dream, it's about the people that you do it with, and how
Mm.
you get there, and that you get there honestly, that you will encounter villains that will try to take your dream, and you need to fight them in a honest way, but still, stay human, stay honest and whatnot. And there's not a single that new field that we encounter a lot, especially with Disney. And it was a refresher, really. I started watching it with Halima for like 10 minutes, then I ended up watching it alone because I liked it, and it's a really good musical.
Yeah, yeah, I'll have to check that out. That's interesting.
Wonka, Wonka.
Okay. Um, yeah, man, but it's been a weird few years in general when you look at like what we used to celebrate, like all this stuff is I don't know, it's like a house of cards is falling. Like kind of started with the Me Too movement, revealing all of these perverts in Hollywood and whatever. And then like it just keeps going down. Like the music industry is now speaking their own truth of it. Like the Hollywood is speaking their truth. The Epstein Island list and what happened there. And it's just it's like all of these things that we propped up to be our heroes and to be our whatever are sort of revealing their real face, and then we are having to return back to those traditional values to find some.
You know what is funny? The funny stuff is people that were talking about this like 10 years ago were considered
Mm-hmm.
not were considered a lunatics,
Mm-hmm.
conspiracy theorists and whatnot. And now a lot of these things are in the light now, and even the usual common man is doubting a lot of the stuff, and is not believing a lot of the stuff. I think a lot of it has to go with death of traditional mainstream media that's happening for the last couple of
Mm-hmm.
years. I myself, I don't remember the last time I watched news. The last time I watched something on the TV that's like the mainstream stuff. Like I don't remember it. I don't know about you. Do you ever watch CNN or something like that, ABC or?
I remember when I was a driver in Tennessee, I think I was at a truck stop eating, and Fox News was on, and they were talking about Muslims, and I started to question my own family and if I was safe around them based on their presentation of how
That's
dangerous we are as individuals.
that's insane, man. That's insane.
Um, no, I don't watch. I mean, I don't think I don't know. That's part of that change, man. Like, where does it all go? Like traditional media is sort of dying. Hollywood is still like as far as movies and shows and stuff like that. But even that, like when you think about entertainment, right? Like movies, of course, Hollywood still is the king. But when you think about entertainment, what is movies? It's entertainment.
Yeah,
Well, when you think about the independent things that people are doing, whether it's video game streamers, just regular streamers,
podcasts.
vloggers, podcasts, like we're not going to before you didn't have all these other. means for entertainment, right? You had whatever Hollywood put out, whatever shows and movies were available. I couldn't go and watch Munir, whatever, right? If you're a gym guy, right now there's people that do live streaming. They go work out, they talk about their workout, and that's how I get my 2 hours of entertainment. Before, I'd have to wait for Hollywood to build a documentary with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that's how
Mm,
I got my fix on it. So it's interesting, man. It's the whole world is sort of moving in this independent direction, and I wonder where it's gonna go. Even like jobs are now more gig based rather than commitment to one company, to one source of income.
yeah.
Um,
Used to be our fathers, my father in particular, your father moved to USA, so but it resonates. They would start as 18, 19 working in one company, and then they would go and retire in that
yeah,
company. My
yeah,
father worked for one company for 40 years, and he retired in that company. So
yeah, yeah. That I don't know what to make of it, man. Like I had an Amazon deliver a package the other day, and some guy pulled up in like an old beat up car. He was wearing pajamas, like flip-flops, and like some raggedy shirt. And he dropped the package off and left. And I mean, Amazon is like one of the largest companies, and representing them is no longer this dress code person, that goes through extensive training, but it's this gig work type of thing because they have a platform. I think it's called like Amazon uh, Flex, Flex, I believe, where it's sort of like Uber and like that type of thing. So from my understanding, I haven't dug into it, but the driver kind of goes in service and then they get packages and they get paid to deliver those packages and they go out of service on demand. It's not like they're scheduled. They have to be there at X amount of time every day. Um, I could be completely misrepresenting that, but
yeah, I wouldn't know.
the part that I do know about is there's a distance between Amazon and their corporate way of doing things and then the people that are doing this thing. Um, and it's just part of that movement away from like traditional way of working. More and more people are moving in this direction, and I wonder like what the consequences of it are of this increased gig work, which I don't think it's made its way, or I don't think it's developed as much over there yet in Bosnia, has it?
It's not. It's not. You have to understand this is a smaller pool.
Sure.
USA is a million time larger economy, and it's a different setup, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't say that a lot of European. I would say that a lot of European countries shouldn't have the gig work still,
Well,
not just
even
Bosnia.
even in trucking, right? Like forever, a person would sign on to one company. They would put that company's signage and logos on their vehicle. They would sign a contract, and that's who they work for. What we're seeing more and more now in expedite, in cargo vans, is people wanting to work for multiple companies, and a lot of carriers, man, are giving into the pressure. Like I remember when it first started to kind of go mainstream. There's a couple companies here that really drove that movement forward. And when it first started happening, everybody was against it for most part, because it is like the Wild West, man. When a driver has five different sets of logos in the van and he's just rotating through them, there's no way that any of those companies can really imprint their culture and values and principles and ethics and all of that on that driver's way of doing things. I mean, instead it becomes the Wild West, and there's really no rules and laws and regulations anywhere.
Right?
Before that, they just didn't exist. No one
Here's
would
the
think
thing,
to.
man. Here's the thing about those. The thing that you're talking about.
Where is the
Everything.
thing, man? Where is the
The thing
thing?
is. The thing is. The whole universe has rules and regulations.
Preach.
Everything is set up. in a way that it has rules and regulations.
Even the sun and the moon.
Order rules over chaos. Yeah, even the sun and the moon. Here's the example. Today is the spring equinox, first day of spring,
Didn't
and
know that, but good to know.
yeah, it is.
American education versus European. Proceed onward.
It's 12. It's when the night is as the same length as the day. So today we have the same length of the day and the night, 12 hours each to the minute, and that's why it's called spring equinox. And how that gets to the reality and how do we get to that is by reading the laws and regulations of the universe around
Sure.
us, the movement of sun and moon and stars and earth,
Mm-hmm.
um, the round earth. Although I sometimes preach that it's flat as as a joke, but it's round.
I don't know what it is.
Why it's round? It's
I haven't
kind
been
of
out to the space if it exists.
well, it's it does, man. Like, look up there.
I don't know.
That's
I
it.
see a wall.
Right. So happy news, first day of spring.
Cool, man. Equator Day, you said?
No, equinox. It's a
Ah,
spring equinox. There
equinox.
is, yeah, spring and autumn equinox. Spring is from 19 to 21st of the March, so that can be the first day. And the autumn equinox starts with I think 19 to 22nd of September.
It's good to know. It's good to
Yeah,
know.
and you
Yeah,
know what?
speaking of the gig thing, I had one of these youth fitness influencers messaged me, said, "Hey man, I'm starting a fitness challenge. It's a 12-week program with live coaching." I said, "Okay, cool. Well, what's the details?" He said, "Well, it's only $250 to join the challenge, and then it's 2,500 for the 12 weeks of coaching." It's just fascinating, man, to see like that type of thing just wasn't available to people because this guy lives like thousands of miles away from me, and
Mm,
he can go online and do stuff
yeah,
like that. And
it's easier today to for everyone to have their own hustle. I
uh-huh.
saw a video on Twitter. I think there's like the gap, the barrier between highways, like the big ones. Like it's maybe I don't know 6 feet high. The gap is like the concrete barrier, and then the bus stopped, and then you had two guys came. One had the ladder on one side, and the other had the ladder on the other side, and they were taking money for people from that bus to cross from one side of the highway over the barrier to the another side of the highway. And they were taking like, I don't know, this is in India, probably in Pakistan or somewhere. It's like they
Mm-hmm.
were taking like 10 cents for a ladder
10
crossing,
cents a year.
10 cents across. So everyone has their own hustle, and I respect that. I mean, it was a funny video, but
It's
that's
it's
how
a
it goes.
lifelong subscription for 10 cents, man. No offense to the rest of the world's economies.
Right, right.
Hashtag USA.
USA rules. God bless America and no other country in the world.
All right, let's dive into numbers, man. Let's get serious.
Alrighty.
What
This
happened
is
yesterday? Tell me.
longer than usual rant from us. So
Ah,
yesterday,
wait, Tony.
um, yesterday was opposite to Monday. We had 41 loads, 35 drivers were booked, with 7.49% bid win ratio, compared to Monday where we had 10 and a half and 52 loads. But the thing is, we had a lot of more longer loads than Monday. So the money that our drivers made was pretty much the same on average. Um, and
Yeah, I noticed that too. The number of
yeah,
loads down, but the quality of loads or whatever you want to call it is up. So it's kind of a wash, but
right, right. So and we had 355 loads that were declined in the system and up compared to 561 bids. So we're at I think this is the ratio. We placed a bid on 65%, whereas 35 was just not. used at all. It expired or was declined. Again, coming
Yeah,
back
we
to the
need
old.
to we don't have the column and we'll add it today, God willing. We need to add that column for expired because a lot of drivers they're when they put loads yellow, they are expiring. Sometimes because people are driving and they don't even see the offer. I actually had one of those yesterday. I called a guy who was driving and there was a load available and he didn't see it and it was a yellow state. And then the other times are people just don't respond to them if they don't like those loads. Again, as we asked before, please, if you see a yellow offered load to you, decline it if you don't want it. Because our dispatch, when they see 10 loads sitting in that available yellow load that were offered to drivers, they don't know who to focus on. If we know that if it's there, it means you didn't see it, then we're going to call you almost every time and say, hey, there's a load available. Maybe you didn't see it. That's going to help you get booked. That's going to help us all get booked. That's going to help us keep our guys moving. But if we see 10 loads sitting there and 8 out of them are people that saw the load, decided they don't like it, so they just ignored it. Well, when we call and almost every time a person says, yeah, I saw that, I don't want it, well, then we're going to stop calling, right? So, um, I mean, like everything else, we're going to try to figure out a systematic solution. But I mean, sometimes the solution is the simplest one. If you are a driver who has some yellow areas and you're getting load offers, please do not just ignore them. If you want it, bid on it. If you don't want to, decline. But don't get in the habit of just sitting there and ignoring those.
That's right.
And it's very easy to decline them too, man. It's one button. Come on, guys. Win ratio yesterday was on the
Yeah,
atrocious side,
it was 7.45. So
7.49, man. Come on,
49.
don't
Yeah,
make it worse than it was. You know
yeah.
what? Let me look back. This is the second worst this month, and the other one was 7.47. Ironically, that was also on a Tuesday. So maybe it's the curse of the Tuesday.
Might be.
But the following day, that's funny, man. So hold on.
I am holding on.
Almost exactly a month ago, February 27th was a Tuesday. So we booked 56 loads the day before on Monday of that week. Monday of this week, we booked 52. Tuesday, that I was just referencing, we booked 40 with that really low win ratio at 7.47. Yesterday, we booked 41 with 7.49. The good news is Wednesday, we booked 51. This was in February with 10.5 win ratio and very good revenue as well for drivers. So inshallah, God willing, the same thing happens again
Inshallah.
where we
We hope
bounce
it will.
back like the phoenix rise from the ashes.
Yes, sir.
Um, operational. We had one crazy thing happen where the system it's bugging out right now with maps. We're fixing it, but sometimes when you're fixing stuff, you got to go 5 steps backwards to erase all the bugs that cause something and then rebuild it up. And right now, that's kind of what's happening. And in the process, it ended up showing us a load and made it look like it's going to Buffalo. However, it was going to New York City. Insane load, insane scenario because the driver had New York City on his no-go list, and we could not make the driver budge, understandably. So there's some valid reasons there why he didn't want to do it. But I think we ended up having to cancel that, right?
Yeah, we ended up having to cancel that. That's correct. And
How
we're
did
fixing
the
that right now.
customer take it?
Well, in these kind of situations, you never know
You
because they
never
might
know.
say they say or they might say No, okay, I'll just post it again. And they did post it. We saw it later again with the same bug, and of course declined it in the system. But in these kind of situations, especially especially if you were one of the only options for that load. Thankfully for this one, we were not. Um, you might just get canceled forever. So you never know. It's as we always say, it's a fragile industry, fragile relationships out there. We have to make sure um, that and integrity is above all on BHX side.
Yeah, exactly, man. You don't know, because they could silently either officially block you, or they could just sort of look the other way when you place bids. Anything else besides that happen operationally?
Yeah, I mentioned yesterday our guy Oscar 548 was stuck on the border. Yeah, he was um that was resolved again. Things that we don't want to see. It was resolved around noon. But apart from that, no bigger operational issues. Just one thing, really, the words of
Tell me.
wisdom that I wanted to mention. Since we talked about spring and everything, no winter lasts forever. No spring hits its turn, as they say, guys. This situation with the loads and the industry and everything that we talk about, and we kind of maybe a little bit too negative about it. Sometimes it will not last forever. The spring will come, and the spring has come uh, in its physical form here, but um, in the industry as well. Hopefully, that will come.
Yeah, yeah. Inshallah, it's a good reminder. I mean, all good thing or all things in life go through their waves of up and down and good and bad. One thing I want to share really quick, man, is one of our drivers is dealing with a nightmare of a situation with a new Mercedes, where 6-ish months ago he purchased it, paid nearly 70,000. Pretty much since he bought it, it started giving him trouble. He's taken it to the dealership for service 11 times. Anyone that knows anything about being a driver, um, that means that 11 times, very likely, he had to cut his week short. He had to cut his earning potential short, right? So he's missed a total of 2.5 months of work because the van is in the shop. They don't have the part. They don't know when it's going to get there. They've quoted him like it could take 6 months to get the part at one point. Um, they're selling vehicles with no parts when it comes to the need for repairs. And again, when this is your livelihood, 2.5 months of missed time off equates to over 25,000 in gross earnings that he's left on the table. Also, those 11 times he had to take it to the shop, him having to cut his week short, him having to kind of screw up his whole week, maybe cost him an additional 10, 15,000. And there's really no clear signs of them fixing it. And it's an absolute nightmare. It's embarrassing that a company as big as they are doing things like this. This is the side of the capitalism or whatever it is. Maybe it's not
Here's the
capitalism.
here's the thing, man, and this pisses me off really. Mercedes, it used to stand for quality. It used to, when you buy a Mercedes, I remember as a kid, I heard a saying here in Bosnia, when you buy a Mercedes, 500,000 kilometers, you don't think about anything. That's how it
Mhm.
used to be. Now I'm hearing from our drivers that on the 10,000 kilometers, they're um, what you call that, the filter, DPF
Def,
yeah, the particle filter is gone. That's insane, right? It used
yep,
to stand for quality, and it's not just one year. It's 2023, 2022, 2021 series. It all happened with our
yep,
drivers, and I can attest to it.
yep. Well, it's just again, I don't know what to blame it on, but it sucks to see a corporation that makes billions of dollars just be able to say, screw you, to an individual who this is their livelihood. Like they purchased your vehicle. Now they're unable to pay their bills and provide for their family, and you're just going to play hot potato with it. The corporate is saying go to the dealership is saying go to corporate. They make a promise and they back out of it. They ignore their phone calls, which is, I mean, a
Mm.
whole nother level of just, you know, terrible service. So hopefully, it gets resolved quickly, but yeah. Um, okay, we'll conclude there. Stay safe, everyone. Salam alaikum.
They say